Faces everywhere.
Oh, so many friends.
Oh my gosh.
Tony and Michelle.
Hi, everybody. Wow.
Okay, I'm going to go live on YouTube and Facebook for just 1 second.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. If you can hold a second, we're going to get everything going live in all the places. Oh my gosh, how fun to see friends' faces. Oh my gosh.
Are you keeping yours on gallery view?
Yes. Yeah, so anyone tuning in, you can change the view from speaker view to gallery view if you want to see everybody. Oh. Can you guys wave if you're hearing just to make sure? Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, Deanne, Paul, Tina, oh, Jennifer, Linda. Oh gosh, so cool. Thank you everybody for coming. We are doing our cookbook launch party. Woohoo, woohoo. Oh, I love it. Holding up your books, you guys. How special. Wow. Is there anyone who hasn't gotten their book yet? Raise your hand if you're like waiting for it to come. Oh, a few of you guys. All right, they should be on their way, especially if you, well, if you're in the US. If you're international, it might take a little bit longer. But that's so exciting.
I'm almost done, and then I'll jump in.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, what we're gonna do today, we're gonna be prepping some, well, I'm gonna make pesto pasta for lunch and take you guys with. We just are really excited to chat with everybody, get to know people on the other side of the book, answer questions, hang out. We are gonna announce our giveaway winners from our big pre-order giveaway, which is exciting. And then we also have a fun little giveaway we're doing in this event for those of you tuning in today. Awesome. And then we've got a fun team here. So Bea is in London and she is going to be fielding all of your questions. So if you're commenting here, people are also going to be watching on YouTube and on Facebook. So Bea will be fielding some questions. We've also got Heather on the Bambella team. Yeah, hey Heather. And then Gina is over on YouTube. She will be taking everyone's questions on YouTube Live, and then Andrea is on Facebook. And so we've got people tuning in from all around. Are you guys able to comment? And in the chat, can you put where you're tuning in from? Love to see where everyone's coming from. Cool. Awesome. Okay, give us one moment. And then we're gonna wait a minute till we let everybody in before we officially go live. Oh, I just love looking at everybody's faces. How special. Oh, there's 4 pages of it. Oh my gosh, I can scroll. Hi, Claire. Oh, our editor Claire's here. Oh, Amanda, who's newly on the World of Vegan team. Lisa Tell. Okay, Julie, I just want to shout everybody out. Oh my gosh. Hey. Welcome. Is anyone wearing a Halloween costume? No one's wearing their Halloween costume? I might bring Graham in here. I have a 9-month-old for those who don't know, and sounds like he just woke up, so he might pop in his Halloween costume, so someone will be spirited.
Okay, I think we're ready. I'm going to just quickly confirm. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm doing tech stuff over here, and I will be ready in 1 sec. Oh, I see my mom. Hi.
Awesome. Is anyone making the pesto today? Hands up. I guess we can do who's already made it? Who's eating it? Yeah, awesome. So one of the recipes in the book is a pesto pasta and then a pesto sauce, which works great on sandwiches. It works great on veggies, all sorts of different things. We're gonna whip that up in a moment for lunch and definitely invite you to join us if you want to cook in the kitchen with us.
I see Nikki in the kitchen right now. Nikki, hi Nikki. Nikki was on our podcast, Plant Powered People podcast, and we met her through the podcast. Her husband Ted messaged us and suggested her, and we're so glad to have been connected. Okay, so as Michelle, are we ready?
Yeah. We're ready.
As Michelle mentioned, we are so excited. We launched our book on Tuesday, and here it is, the Friendly Vegan Cookbook. We've been working on it for quite some time. We published with Ben Bella, and a few of our team members are here with us. Heather is helping us run the show. Claire was our editor and spent hours and hours and a long time making our book as beautiful as it is. Michelle, I would say we've been working on this project for about 2 years now. About 2 years, but before that, we've always wanted to write this cookbook. We wanted to create a book in the vegan space that we felt we wished we had when we became plant-based or even started on our plant-based journey. I took a very slow road to eating a plant-based diet. It took me years and years and years to finally fully embrace it. And I wish I had a comprehensive resource in the beginning that showed me foods that I was familiar with, using ingredients I was comfortable with, and were very easily laid out for me to understand. I didn't have a lot of cooking skills, and so we brought all of those elements to this book. And my favorite part about it, besides co-authoring it with Michelle, is that we were able to have photos with each recipe. And we understand that people eat with their eyes first. So having photos that are beautiful and that will inspire you in the kitchen was really important to us. Michelle, do you want to share your faves?
Yeah, definitely. When I first went vegan 13 years ago, it was the challenge of like learning how to cook from scratch. And we wanted to, like, today it's a lot different, the landscape. There's every food you can imagine. It's pretty easy to go vegan, but when you go on the internet looking for recipes, sometimes it can feel really overwhelming. And I still, 13 years down the line, when I try and make something new, half the time it's a total flop in my kitchen. So that was what we really wanted to bring, was like, when you want to make something that's for Thanksgiving or something to share with friends and family, you know that these recipes have been tested by many of you here. Actually, we had a ton of recipe testers. So that is my favorite part of the book. I want the food photos. I want to be drooling, but I also want to know that if I'm going to take the time and energy to cook something in my kitchen, that it's going to be a hit and something that I love and want to make again. So we hope that that comes through as you guys start cooking. It's been really fun. We've started hearing from some of you who have already made dishes, which has blown us away. We feel like the book just landed in your hands and we're already getting photos of what you've made and everything. I'd love to hear, you guys can leave in the comments if you've made anything, tried anything, are excited to try something. Yeah. Also, it is World Vegan Day today. So can we just take a moment? Happy World Vegan Day, everybody. Yay!
All right, Michelle is going to be doing a short cooking demo, and then we will be eating it. I've already got mine here. We're making a pesto pasta. What I like about this pasta is that instead of pine nuts, which are very, very expensive, Michelle's going to be using a different type of nut, which is easier to find and cheaper, and that is walnuts.
Walnuts. This recipe actually has a little bit of a story behind it. So the way that we tested or we created the recipes in the book is first we put a list together of the like dream recipes that we think every vegan should have as a staple in their household. And then we divided them basically in half. Tony started developing a half of them. I developed half of them approximately. And then when we'd create something and perfect it in our own minds, to our own taste buds, we'd pass it to the other. And then if I made it, then Tony would make it in her house, see if she loved it, see if she has any tweaks. And if she did, then it would go back to my kitchen, a lot of back and forth before it even got to our recipe testers. And this was one of them for pesto pasta. I love pesto. I love pesto pasta. It's so good. Like, don't mess with my pesto. And so when I saw Tony give the recipe to me with walnuts instead of pine nuts, I was like, okay, I know you're trying to save money. I get that, but like this has to be the best pesto for a new vegan to love. So if it's gonna sacrifice flavor, like I don't even know if I wanna make this. And Tony was like, trust me, just try it, go for it. So very skeptically, I used walnuts instead of pine nuts in this recipe. And you guys, you cannot tell the difference. Like it's really mind blowing because if you eat a walnut, they have a very like walnutty taste. But when you're mixing it with basil and garlic and olive oil and salt, I get that, but like this has to be the best pesto for a new vegan to love. So if it's gonna sacrifice flavor, like I don't even know if I want to make this. And Johnny was like, trust me, just try it, go for it. So very skeptically, I used walnuts instead of pine nuts in this recipe, and you guys, you cannot tell the difference. Like it's really mind blowing because if you eat a walnut, they have a very like walnutty taste. But when you're mixing it with,
Hey Tony, can you hear that?
Hear what?
I'm getting like feedback. Like I'm hearing myself talk a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
The sound is coming from Tony.
Oh yeah, Tony, can you mute
Video,
yourself?
audio.
sacrifice flavor, like I don't even know if I want to make this. And Johnny was like,
Got it.
Okay, thank you. I was so confused. I was like, what's open? All right, so yes.
It started broadcasting to YouTube and also replaying it out loud so that I could watch it, but I'm so sorry about that.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So with all the other flavors in there, the walnuts work out really great. I can't wait for you guys to try this. And it is such a simple recipe. So I already made some pasta. Woohoo! And the other nice thing is you can use any type of pasta. You can make it with spaghetti, fettuccine. Today I'm using this fancy rigate because why not? That's cute and fun. And so I already whipped that up. And now we're going to use our handy food processor. And just a note about this food processor. I got this food processor, I want to say for like $15, $20 on Amazon like 10 years ago. It is not a nice food processor. We are not fancy all the time in this house. While we do sometimes have nice tools like a Vitamix if we can. You can totally use what you have to make these recipes. And this super old food processor is doing the trick. It's doing just fine.
Michelle?
Yes.
Someone is asking here if they can use sunflower or pumpkin seeds because they have a nut allergy. Would that work?
I have never used, you can probably use sunflower seeds. Tony, have you ever done that?
I have. That's actually how I do it in the Plant-Based on a Budget cookbook. That's the cheapest pesto that you can make.
Awesome, I love it. Cool. Okay, so here's the recipe. Pesto. And all it is basil leaves, walnuts, garlic, olive oil, nooch, and salt. So for the sake of not being boring, Tony, do you want to talk while I just kind of mix these things together? I'm going to be mincing garlic and stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So a few tips that I love about what Michelle is doing are first, garlic. I love garlic, and I'm always trying to save time in the kitchen as well. So I have a few tips there. You can either buy jarred garlic, and I know that Michelle is really, really skeptical about this. She loves her fresh garlic, and if that is you, then you can also, on your meal prep day, peel all your garlic, tear them apart, and put them in a storage container that's airtight and put it in the refrigerator. And then use a garlic press. I'll show you my garlic press. Something like this. I got this on Amazon, and I've gotten one at IKEA before. So they're probably around $8. And it saves you so much time. You stick your garlic in here, press it through. It comes out of these little holes, and it saves you a lot of time mincing your garlic. So if you're trying to save time in the kitchen, those are my two favorites. And with what Michelle is doing, you can do it in a food processor. Like she is using a food processor right now. We can't see the food processor, Michelle. Can you put it down a little bit? So this is a food processor. I used to have a little tiny one that was just a few cups. But that one is a bigger one, and that's the kind that you would need for a recipe like this. And if you don't have one of those, that's okay. You can use a standard upright blender. Michelle, oh, she's muted. Sorry. No, that's okay. Sorry, that's okay. I was just going to ask you a question, but that's okay. So she is blending this up, and you want it to be really creamy, like this. This is going to be the finished product. And if you don't make it creamy, it'll be kind of extra nutty. And that's my personal preference. I like a little bit of crunch, but not too much. Let's see what else she's putting in there. We're going to, yes?
Somebody's asking, Effervescent Bubbles from YouTube is asking, she's saying she's never used her Vitamix for blending nuts before, and if you have any tips on that.
It's so easy. You can blend, you can pour in a cup of peanuts and blend that just as it is, not soak, not anything, and it'll turn into peanut butter. Having a Vitamix is one of my handiest tools in the kitchen. I know that they're kind of expensive, which is why a food processor is a good tool if you don't want to, or if you haven't invested in a Vitamix or another high-powered blender. So when Michelle is done mixing them creamy, mixing the sauce until it's creamy, a way that I like to batch cook is to put everything that she's making, the whole sauce, into ice cube trays and then freeze it. And I do that maybe with like 4 batches at a time, and then I'll put it in an airtight container, and that's a perfect way to have an easy meal. You've done all of the prep work up front, and keep it in your plastic bag or your airtight container, and use it throughout the year. I do it during the summer when I have basil growing in my garden. Looks like she's done.
Hey, quick and easy. La pesto. Look it up on some pasta. We know we picked, this isn't really like the cooking demo for the sake of a cooking demo. We just wanted to cook and eat with you guys. So that's why we picked like the simplest thing. So I'm gonna get a bowl and make up my pesto pasta. Tony, continue on.
Alrighty. If you haven't gotten the book yet, the book, again, this is what it looks like for those. I see people are still coming in. This is what it looks like. It's the Friendly Vegan Cookbook. You can find it at friendlyvegancookbook.com. And if you put your information in to friendlyvegancookbook.com, you can also get a meal plan that we usually have on plantbasedmealplan.com that is specifically for the Daily Dozen. If you follow Michael Greger's work, he has something called the Daily Dozen, which is a recommended list of foods you eat every day. And we're also giving that away when you purchase our book and input your information onto friendlyvegancookbook.com. Michelle just showed you her finished product, her finished food.
And just the pasta. I'm adding the pesto now. Ideally, I'd put this in a big bowl, but we're gonna mix it in here.
Another thing I really enjoy about our book, and let's see, actually, oh, here's a good. This is my first cookbook ever. It's our friend cookbook. Her name is Colleen Patrick Boudreau. It's The Joy of Vegan Baking. If you look at it, you can see my handwriting all over. I've made almost maybe over 50% of the cookbook, and it says, amazing, works with hand mixing, tried on this date, I wouldn't use light butter, and I put notes all over the book. It's food splattered. I've had it for over a decade, and I wanted our book to be like that. So we included a space for your notes on every recipe, and it looks different on every page, for you to incorporate your notes and make these recipes your own. This is a guide. We've tested them to what we find is best, but maybe you don't have those ingredients easily available to you, or you found spinach cheaper than kale, or you really love a certain spice that you throw into all of your meals. You can add that so that you don't forget that it tastes good or that it didn't work. And then we also have at the end of the book, last page, another place for your notes if you have cooking notes that you couldn't fit on the actual page.
All right, lunch is ready. I also want to remind everyone, if you're making something like basil pesto pasta, and even if you're just serving it to yourself, presentation matters, right? So always reserve a little basil leaf, a basil sprig to put on top for garnish, especially if you're serving it to anyone, but even yourself, treat yourself. You can also top it with some cherry tomatoes, some halved cherry tomatoes. I actually have some growing in my garden. I have one left, and I'm like, oh, I need to put that on top to bring a nice color, nice red color to the dish. But here we go, pesto pasta, so delicious, so simple. You don't have to spend a ton of money on pine nuts. Pine nuts are crazy expensive. Like, Tony, didn't you see them for like $30 a pound or something?
I posted a picture on Plant-Based on a Budget for $49.99 per pound. I could not believe that someone would pay $50 per pound for pine nuts. So much money.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to connect with everyone. Bea, are there any cool comments, questions coming in?
Well, first of all, people are saying that Tony's red lipstick looks amazing on YouTube. They're also, the Effervescent Bubbles is asking if it would be possible to chop everything off instead of using a food processor, if that would work.
For the pesto?
Mm-hmm. For the pesto.
It wouldn't work the same. So you want to be creating something that just like coats the noodles. It could still be good and have the same flavor profile, but with the walnuts, you'd have to, it really, the nuts and the oil come together to create a sauce rather than like chunky. But Tony, do you have, like, could you use like a potato masher or something? Do you have any tips for that?
I thought about this because I demoed this on Home and Family on Tuesday, and they asked me this question: what if someone doesn't have a blender or a food processor? And the hard part about it would be the basil, getting the basil to be so fine that it turns into it just is something that is spread throughout the sauce instead of finely minced. It wouldn't work the same.
Yeah, but one thing is you can use a blender as well. So I did this here in my food processor. You can use a blender. You're just going to need a little bit more hand holding, squishing the sides down to get it to come together.
Another question from Kathy Koch. She's asking if you can sub the oil if you're oil free.
If you're oil free, you can. Tony, have you done this oil free before?
Nope.
Yeah, and we actually tried this. This recipe does have a good amount of oil in it, and we tried anywhere we could to cut back on to make things as healthy as possible and as affordable as possible and as easy as possible. So we did try it with less oil, but it did impact the flavor. So to get like a pesto that tastes like the pesto you're used to or that you'd get in a restaurant that's really delicious, I would go with the tested version. But if you're oil free, we have tons of recipes that have no oil in them in our books. So you can look out for those. And if you have tips for if you've made it that way in a way that tastes really good, you can definitely leave it so that it can be helpful for other people too.
Another question is if you could choose 3 recipes from the cookbook that someone would cook for a non-vegan person, which one would you choose?
The one that we often highlight because it's one of our favorite is the Fettuccine Alfredo. So delicious. I think that's a huge winner with non-vegans. But you might want to think about something that's really familiar, that's not going to even make them question. Like if they know you're giving them something that's not what they're used to, something like a pesto is great. They're not going to think twice about this. This is really familiar. It's just as delicious. So I think that would be really great. Tony, what are some of your favorites?
I second the Fettuccine Alfredo. It's one of my favorite meals now. It's Michelle's recipe that she developed, and I thought when I became plant-based, I was just not going to eat Alfredo anymore. I had tried a few also, and they were not as good. They were cauliflower based or other nuts, and this one is by far my favorite. And it's also a one-pot meal, which I love. I don't want to do any dishes ever, so I love that it's a one-pot meal. And also one of my friends, her name is Doni, she's watching and she loves it too. She eats Alfredo with dairy in it and still loves this one, thinks it's one of her favorites.
Yeah, but again, we did create this book in order to create meals that are good enough to share with people who are not vegan. So if you're looking through that for that, I would just more look for the tone and style of what type of vibe you want to create. Is it a breakfast, lunch, dinner? What is it? And then what looks good to you, because a lot of our recipe testers we're not vegan. They have all different levels of cooking skills. So really find what looks good to you, and then we hope it's a win.
This one is my other favorite. It's the lasagna soup. I love lasagna, and we have a lasagna recipe in our book, but lasagna is a little bit labor intensive. You have to spend time layering, and you have to make different parts. What I like about this one, another one pot meal, you throw everything in the same pot, and it's quick and easy, and I appreciate that about that recipe. It is so good. I also super love soups. So I think everything is better as a soup.
Yeah, that lasagna recipe is really special to me. My birth father went vegan really soon after we met and connected. And we would do these things where we'd talk on the phone while cooking at night. And we just, because he was in Southern California, I wasn't. So we'd cook over the phone and we'd pick a dish to cook together. And he always wanted to come back to the lasagna soup because he just loved it. And you can also spice up both that recipe and so many others in our book. We tried to create like a solid base for you. So lasagna soup, lasagna, pesto pasta, but you can always take that and use ingredients that you have on hand or things that can make it a little bit more fun. So with the lasagna soup, sometimes we'll take like tofurkey Italian sausages and cut it up and add it in there. If you want like an extra meaty feel, you can do all sorts of things to make them fun and unique, and you can go back to the recipes again and again with fun little twists so it doesn't feel like you're eating the same thing all the time.
But what I really loved, we have that as an optional tip that you can add any vegan meats of your choice. But what I really loved to hear was that our recipe testers who tried it with the plant-based meat said that it was so good and rich and had great texture on its own that they didn't even need to add it. So that's one less expense on your grocery list. Here's another one that I really like with the holiday season coming up. This is an easy pumpkin chocolate pie that is made with tofu, which is shocking to many people because you definitely can't taste it. It's really, really, really good. And if you've ever tried to make a pumpkin pie, they're really labor intensive and sometimes easy to mess up. And this one is foolproof. It's so simple, comes together with not that many ingredients and looks like that. So yummy.
Yes. And just a note about the tofu. So there's different types of tofu, as I'm sure many of you know, but that one uses silken tofu, which is often used, that people use it for creamy sauces, dressings, even in smoothies and in pies. So anything that you want completely smooth with no texture at all from the tofu, you'd use a silken tofu.
I think I have one around here. Hey, Michelle, do you want to announce the winners of our pre-order giveaway?
Yes, I would love to. I'm curious if any of them are here, but we will see. So I just this morning went to a random number generator and picked our winners. So we're personally buying a Vitamix for somebody. So I will announce them first. And then 3 more, we later added 3 more giveaway prizes because we're like, oh, we want to just not pick just one person. So we added 3 more that are getting an awesome package. They're going to get an at-home ice cream party from Notamu, so a big shipment of ice cream to your doorstep, $100 gift certificate to Sprouts grocery store, an epic collection of fun pasta from Pastabilities, which is I love Pastabilities. They have Halloween shaped pasta that I made last night and all sorts of different fun shapes. Some body care that's vegan and eco-conscious from Buddha Organics, and a zero waste starter kit from Zafiro Waste, which is a zero waste shop in Chicago, and all sorts of goodies. So
I love that Kathy has her fingers crossed like this. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then maybe we can, we're gonna pick a winner also from one of you here today in case this doesn't hit anyone who's here. Okay, so we'll start with our 3 winners. We have Kate Howard as one of them. I don't know how we would even see if they are here. I guess leave in the comments if you happen to be here.
by Kate Howard. Congratulations. She is going to get one of our packages. Our winners, we have Kate Howard, we have Lisa Campbell, and I'm realizing there might be multiple people with these names. And so if it's you, let us know, put it in the chat, and we'll confirm. We'll let you know the email. Okay, and then we've got Ken Beller is our third winner. And for the Vitamix, drum roll, Mary Brenzel Chavez. Woohoo! Okay, I know that's kind of hard to hear. This is kind of a tease because for everyone that was hoping, but thank you so much. I just want to take a moment to just really thank you for all of you who pre-ordered our book. That is such a powerful way to support authors, and I hope you'll continue to do it with vegan cookbooks well into the future, and also just any authors that you want to support. It's a really means a lot in the publishing world. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and Tony's heart and Bella's heart and at everybody's hearts. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. And we also, Tony was mentioning how if you go to friendlyvegancookbook.com and enter info now, anyone getting the book gets a different bonus gift, the How Not to Die meal plan of ours. But if you guys have already ordered, you can still fill that out and you'll get the meal plan. So we didn't want anyone to miss out. So if you head over to friendlyvegancookbook.com and just enter your order information, on the next page will be the How Not to Die meal plan that we're gifting to you. So enjoy that.
I thought it would be fun if they want to. We have about, let's see, I believe we have 3 important moms here. We have my mom and my mother-in-law and Joan, who is Michelle's mom. And I was thinking it'd be fun to unmute them so that they can say hi. They were recipe testers for us, and they've just been huge supporters of us in our work. And if they want to be unmuted, I would like to unmute them so they can say hi. Okay, let's see. I asked to unmute.
Stay there.
Lisa and
Hi.
And then over here we've got Jolene. Oh, I just asked Joan. And we've got Jolene, where are you?
Also, Lizzie, I love that you're cooking right now. Yay!
Joan, are you there now?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Hi, Michelle.
Okay, great. Now we've got a few moms here. We'll start with Lisa.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Okamoto. I'm Tony's mom and a huge supporter of her cookbooks. I've also been taste testing and testing a lot of the recipes. I try to incorporate a lot of the recipes in our functions that we have at home, and this cookbook is awesome.
Thank you. Okay, and then we'll go over to Joan.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Michelle. I don't know, can you see me? I'm not sure my camera's on, is
I
it?
can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay, well, I'm so proud of both of you girls. I love the recipes. I tested a lot of them and continue to explore that cookbook. I'm just super enjoying it. And this was really fun to see you cook in your kitchen, Michelle.
Yeah, my mom really has tested. I can't even count the number of recipes from our book and was such a partner in this. So thank you, Mom. Also, these people we're calling out did not get a heads up. So thanks for popping on. That's really special.
My pleasure. Have fun.
Jolene, would you like to say hello?
Sure. My name is Jolene Shapiro. I'm a proud mother-in-law of Tony Okamoto, and I feel like sort of like a partial mom to Michelle. And I am thrilled to be on the call. I love the recipes. I love the book. The illustrations are gorgeous, and I can't imagine a better present to receive for Christmas or Hanukkah. anybody would be thrilled to get this book, no matter how you eat. These recipes are marvelous and so easy to make. So my idea is to buy lots of them and give them out for holiday presents and keep using my own.
She's our hype woman.
Can I show the recipe? So the ice cream cake in our cookbook, which the photo is probably my favorite part. Woo! This is Jolene's recipe.
Jolene was also a recipe tester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can we take a moment, Tony, to just shout out a couple people who were really instrumental in making the book happen?
Yes.
Okay. So the photos in the book. So I'm a food photographer and I love taking photos of food, but when we were writing this book, we had, I think, just closed our plans to start writing it with Ben Bella when I found out that I was pregnant. And so by the time all of the recipes were ready and it was time to photograph, I was not sure if I'd be able to see over my belly with my camera lens. And so we wanted to find someone who could really encapsulate just like the I want to eat you-ness of these recipes in photos. And so we teamed up with Zorro. He takes a lot of the photos for both Plant-Based on a Budget and World of Vegan. He's incredible. He really brought it to life through the pages. So I took a couple of the photos in here, but the most of them are by Zorro, and I think he just did such a great job. So thank you, Zorro. You're amazing. We also have some lifestyle photos in the book, which was important to us because we know what it is like to go vegan and feel alone. And while it's in a different age now, there still are so many people who feel like they are alone in this process. And so we wanted to create a cookbook that makes you feel like you have friends in the kitchen. We are there with you, holding your hands, being there, cheering you on, and then truly, literally cheering you on. So if you're going to share pictures of what you make and tag us, we will, we'd love to like connect and help people feel not so alone in that process. And so that was a part of including just some lifestyle friendly images in there to help people feel not so alone. And those were taken by Lauren here in Sacramento, incredible photographer who, is loving eating dishes and gonna try more things from our book, and we're so excited. We also, go ahead.
I'd like to unmute Bea, who is was a huge helper in this. There she is, and she helped manage all of our recipe testers. We had a lot of recipe testers, and she helped manage that process. And she also works with both Plant-Based on a Budget and World of Vegan to make sure that things were running. And still, while we're on our virtual book promotion tour, is holding down both Plant-Based on a Budget and World of Vegan. So thank you for all of your help, Bea.
Thank you. It was such an honor to be a part of it, even if it was a small part. I'm so proud of you girls. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Bea has been working with both of us for a couple years now, almost a couple years.
3 years almost.
And she lives in the UK, but is originally from Chile, and is a mama of 3. So that's a little bit about Bea. All right.
Yeah, and many of you here who tested, you emailed with Bea, so yeah, thank you, Bea, for everything that you did supporting this book. I don't think it would exist here yet without you. We'd still be trying to figure out how to get it recipe tested by everyone. Another cool thing that we wanted to include in this book that's a little bit different is illustrations. So at World of Vegan, and also a bit at Plant-Based on a Budget, a big part of the work that we do is share information and help educate through artwork. And so we brought on Jean, who illustrates a lot of our artwork, to illustrate the book in lots of different spots. So if you peek through, you'll see some fun illustrations popping up. And that was really cool to include, especially on like the little info pages. I don't know about you, but I'm such a visual person. If I see a recipe without a photo, I'm not going to make it. But also if I see these big, huge blocks of text with nothing like catching my eye, sometimes I just skim over it. And we really did want this to be a book that you pick up and want to actually read through from start to finish, and to have it help you along your plant-based adventure that way. So thank you, Jean, for doing those amazing photos or amazing illustrations. That was huge.
Out of another person I'd like to thank. I'm not sure if your husband's here, but mine is. Is Dan here?
He's with the baby.
Okay, he's with the baby. I'm going to bring on Paul. I just unmuted him. Okay, here is Paul. He's my husband. Okay, so when we got married last year, I was touring for Plant-Based on a Budget. I started my book tour 1 week after and traveled weekly at least for 6 months. Then I came home and started working with Michelle so hard on this book. We were recipe testing, I was recipe developing, and it was just extremely time consuming and labor intensive to make sure all these were perfect. So Paul has just been a stellar husband. Paul, if you want to say hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tony's husband. I'm also the father to our dog, Eddie, who is here listening to the party with us. He's all partied out, as you can see. He's very tired, but he's the beneficiary of many of the items that Tony gets to make, as am I, for which I am particularly grateful. So I want to congratulate both Tony and Michelle for your awesome work to help all of us choose plant-based eating and to make the world a better place. And I will turn it back over to you, Tony. I do want to mention that in honor of our friends who tried to disrupt the call, I did go onto Amazon and place an extra order for the book just in their honor that I will give away as a gift to somebody this week. So that was what it inspired me to do.
Oh, thank you so much. That does.
Thank you, Paul. Also, it really does. It is a huge support to the book, leaving Amazon reviews. So for all of those of you who have done that, thank you, thank you, thank you. It really means the world. And that's kind of after the book launches, that is such a powerful way to help support authors. So thank you to all of you who left us Amazon reviews already. Hi, Eddie. And Paul, I just also want to say thank you. Paul has been helping me personally with World of Vegan and different projects for long before I think he and Tony even kind of got together. And Paul, you didn't know me well. I would just be like, hey, Paul, you work at Humane Society. Can you review this? And so you would just incredibly generous with his time and supporting projects that are in an effort to help animals. He just will put something aside to help people all the time. So thank you, Paul.
I dropped my fork.
Oh, Paul, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. He's muted now. You're muted. I shouted.
Okay. Another thing to shout out in the book is while most of the recipes originated in Tony's kitchen or my kitchen, we do have a handful that came from friends and fellow creators that you'll see through the book. We have my friend Michael created a Southern collard green recipe. We have, so our forward is by Chef Chloe Coscarelli, who authored one of my favorite vegan cookbooks, Chloe's Kitchen. And there's a recipe of hers for artichoke dip that I have loved for a long, long time. I've made it dozens of times, brought it to parties. I just love it. And so when we were thinking about what essential recipes were needed in this book, we thought, of course, an artichoke dip. That's something that a lot of people don't know how to make vegan. And as I was recipe testing for it a lot, I realized I just can't beat Chloe's recipe. I wonder if she'll let us include it in the book. And she very generously did. So you'll see Chloe's artichoke dip, which I highly recommend. That's a really, really great one to make, especially once we can start being around people again. It's really great for potlucks. It's just good dip recipe for parties, anything like that.
Questions? I'd also love to answer questions. If anyone has any questions about the book or anything. I forgot that I wanted to mention, Paul talked about the holidays and Jolene talked about the holidays. We added a lot of holiday recipes in here because we know that food sharing is so important to many. In my family, food sharing is the foundation of everything. We come together and we eat, and I love that. So I believe that it's such a powerful way to connect with people and to introduce them to how tasty plant-based eating can be. And so we poured a lot of our efforts into perfecting holiday recipes. So what are your favorites, Michelle? Oh, sorry, I'll answer. Oh, my mom is showing a recipe of something. Oh, grandma's cookies. Yes, those look delicious. What's really special about that recipe is that Michelle was adopted, and her biological dad helped test for that recipe and really made it what it is. And unfortunately, he passed away while we were writing this cookbook, which was a huge challenge and hurdle to overcome. But we're really grateful for everything that he brought to this book, and we're so grateful that he got to be a part of the process with recipe testing and recipe development. And I know he was really special to Michelle. So if you want to say anything, Michelle.
That recipe is really, really, really special to me now. Always has been, but it's actually my grandma, who I never met until like 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. It's her recipe that she would make, and all the kids on the neighborhood loved it. Everybody loved it. She would make it for people in her family. So when I met my birth father, and then he went vegan, he was like, well, I go home to my mom and I can't eat my mom's cookies anymore. What are we going to do about this? So he got to work recipe testing, and I can't tell you how many times he made it. He's like, maybe if I use this different ingredient or a little bit more of this or a little bit less of this, until it was perfect. And they are so good, you guys. They like sort of poof up in the oven, and then they fall and sort of caramelize into the most magical cookies ever. And I call them grandma's cookies in the book rather than oatmeal cookies, because they're technically oatmeal cookies. They have oats, like there's a ton of oats in them, but you would never, like, my experience with oatmeal cookies is dry, crumbly, like hippy dippy cookies. These are not that. These are so delicious, decadent, great to share, great to make for the holidays. And yeah, really special recipe to include.
Yes, if you want to know more about Greg's journey, we have our very first episode on the Plant Powered People podcast was interviewing him about what it was like to not even be considering vegan eating at all, and then to meet someone and have them become such an important part of his life and become a vegan overnight. It's just like, okay, I'm doing this because he wanted to support Michelle. So I loved their story of connecting, and I'm so grateful to have met him.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, and I'm so sad that he's not here to see this come to life, because he truly, when I was recipe testing, he would be like, and I was tired, exhausted at the end of the day, like not wanting to make a recipe again, he would be like, just call me on the phone, I'll make it with you. Like, he was just such a team player and like really so supportive throughout the whole making of this book. So, Peepaw, thank you.
Bea, do we have any questions coming in from Facebook or?
Well, we have one from here. It's Megan Lindemann, and she's asking, what was the hardest and best part about writing the cookbook?
I could say the hardest was not at the end, not being able to be together. This has been a weird time to come out with a book. And a big part of the specialness of this is that Tony and I love collaborating, creating together, cooking together, hanging out while also being productive. And so we got most of the elements of that in the beginning chapters of making this book. But to not even be able to be together right now celebrating is, that's hard.
I loved learning about Michelle and her family recipes, and that was really cool. Having a close friend write this with me, it was a special experience, and collaborating in a way that was really intimate and had us spend hours and hours and hours of recipe testing and talking back and forth really strengthened my friendship with Michelle. So I love that part of writing the cookbook, and also connecting with people I hadn't connected with in a long time throughout this whole process, from recipe testers, people I asked on Facebook randomly, like, hey, would you recipe test, and have them be part of this book, and then to stay connected. And then also now people from high school have purchased this book, and they're like, hey, look, I got the book, or my aunt bought it and she showed it to me. And I think that is really cool.
It is a really special time right now. When Tony and I have created a lot of projects together, and whenever we release them, it's very exciting, and we often get
a lot of support from our very close friends and our vegan friends, of course, but we've never had the experience before right now, where at least I haven't, where when I shared that we were writing this book, I heard from like my mom's friend's cousin or whatever, people are just like, oh, I know someone who's vegan, or like, oh, my daughter-in-law is going vegan, or oh, I've been thinking about trying it. Just hearing from people who are not vegan, but who are interested and need a little bit of support and help. We have been flooded with that right now, which is so exciting. It's just a sign of the times and how plant-based food is getting so much more accessible, and so many more people are leaning in that direction. So it's really been fun to see that just show itself in another way as we release the book.
And then some of the challenges that we faced when Michelle was pregnant, and the hard part came in the beginning. She was very sick all the time for months, the first 3 months.
First trimester was not easy. If any of you have kids, you probably know, or if you have kids that you've had yourself, morning sickness is not easy. There was a big part where I couldn't even step in the kitchen, and I leaned so hard on my husband as Tony was sending me her recipes, and I was like, oh, you're gonna have to wait for mine. I can't even go in the kitchen right now. I'm gonna hurl. So yeah, that was tough.
That was tough. We lost Greg, and that was tough. That was really hard. And then we got in a pandemic. And so that's tough. Coming out with a book during a pandemic really changes what it looks like to launch a book. And not only that, but it's a week before we launched 1 week before the election, which made it really hard to get news coverage because all of the news wants to talk about the election. And then also with just a very tense place to be on social media. It was just hard in general to come out with a book. So we really, really appreciate that you're spending your time with us and supporting our book. We love hearing from you. Oh, and we especially love Amazon reviews because that's what's helping us sell our book right now. People go and read the reviews to see if it's worth investing in. And if it's not heavily reviewed, people are like, I don't know, not enough reviews yet. And then they forget, and then they never buy the book. So thank you to everyone who has reviewed.
Do we want to take some more questions?
Yeah.
Sarah Horton is saying she's hoping that you girls keep on doing cooking demos even after the book was launched.
Yeah, this was actually one of the I'll just let it be a perk, because the pandemic has a lot of awful things coming with it. But a side perk of the pandemic is it forced me and Tony to get on the intranet more. We couldn't be together. We started using technology more to connect with all of you. And so we started doing cooking demos, and they've been actually really fun. I thought that I was not going to enjoy them because the idea of being live, I'm just such an introvert, and I'm so shy, and I'm so nervous to be around people that I thought I wasn't going to enjoy them, but I love doing them. Tony and I are definitely going to continue. We're probably going to, I don't know, take a little break after it has been quite a year. But then definitely we'll keep doing more. And if there are recipes in the book that you're like, oh, I want to make this, but I feel like it would be helpful to have a cooking demo, or anything specific you want from us, please let us know. You can send us an email. You can put it in the chat here, and Bea can flag those for us later so that we can know what we can create that can be the most helpful to you, because that's ultimately why we're doing it. So thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bea, are there any others?
No questions.
Bea, you're muted.
Oh,
okay.
I think she said no questions.
Oh, okay, cool.
No questions. All right, well, Michelle, why don't you talk a little bit about what inspired you to become plant-based in the beginning?
Oh, we're taking it way back.
You can give the Cliff's Notes version about why, what led you to this book?
Yeah, I actually, if I could have shown this to little Michelle, I would be like, oh my God, what is this one? Who is that? Whose book is that? Because I've always been just a huge animal lover since I was teeny tiny. I mean, my mom's here, she could tell you, a huge animal lover. And when I was 8 years old,
that's when she pointed out to me casually that the animals that I was eating are like the animals that I pet and love over here. And at that moment, I was like, what? I had no idea. I don't want to cause anyone to die or suffer, or I'm not eating this anymore. And so that was the start. And at that time, I just didn't want to cause suffering or cause anyone to die, but I didn't know about the factory farming industry and all these other things that are impacting our world so powerfully. And as I learned about that, it just became my mission to make making kind choices. And a big part of that is our food choices, because we make those choices every day, every meal, to help people make kind ones. So that was the heart of it, how it started, and still where I am today. My mission in my life here on this planet, as long as I have, is to reduce as much suffering as possible. And there's a lot of it. So I will be working on that hopefully until the end. And this is just a manifestation of that. What Tony and I have found through our many, many years, 13 plus years being vegan, is that what I used to use my energy doing to spread awareness, what isn't as impactful as I had hoped, and what ended up being really, really powerful and actually creating change is just leading by positive example, being friendly, being kind, sharing delicious food, showing that it's not hard, it's not easy, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Every time we sit down to eat, we have a choice to stand for something positive and kind in the world. And so it's been really fun to see this come to life as just a manifestation of that.
I think that's beautiful. And I wanted to shout out a couple people. Tina just left an Amazon review. So thank you, Tina. We really appreciate that. And then Doni asked, what do we want flexitarians to take away from our book? And I think that is such an important question, because we both feel that any plant-based meal that you choose is a step in the right direction. We celebrate it and agree that it does not have to be an all or nothing effort. So we share that in the Friendly Vegan Cookbook. Part of the reason we chose the Friendly Vegan title is because we are friendly to everybody. We're friendly to people who make different choices than us, and we feel that these recipes will bring people together who appreciate good food.
Love it.
Sandy Labowitz is wondering if any of the recipes were specially made to be simple in this book.
Yes. There were actually recipes that we almost didn't include because we thought they were too simple. One of them is the mango smoothie. It's 3 ingredients. Actually, I also I made a couple things from the book this morning. I made our strawberry sauce, which is also 3 ingredients. This pesto is really simple. We wanted, in any way that we could, to cut out steps. There are a couple recipes, like I've been making stuffed shells for a long, long time, but I wanted to see, what if we don't saute the onions and we just blend them up, put them in and bake them? Like, will it still be delicious so we can cut out this whole step in the kitchen? So we definitely kept that in mind. There are a couple recipes where they have extra steps, like our Fettuccine Alfredo. We ask you to whip up almond cream in your blender, because it tastes so much better when you do that yourself rather than using just almond milk. But in any chance that we could, we tried to simplify and cut out steps.
We also have someone from Facebook saying that they bought a copy of the cookbook and that they made the pot pie and they loved it.
That pot pie actually comes from the kitchen of Allison Rivers Sampson. She's a dear friend of ours, and also has, she actually started the first vegan online bakery ever that existed. It no longer exists, but she and I have been friends and collaborating on things for a long time. So it was really special to include her recipe. She's contributed to Veg News Magazine and all sorts of other publications, and also has recipes on her site. So whenever we include a guest recipe, they are mentioned in the blurb. So I encourage you guys to also check them out. Some of them are just friends who don't have online platforms, but some of them do have recipes of their own. So definitely check them out. And I'm so glad that you love the pot pie. That is one of my favorites. It's so, so good.
I want to take a second to shout out to my friends Anita and Alex, who look like they're kayaking You're waving right now. I'll ask to unmute just so that they can share the backstory about it was so important to them to come to this that even while kayaking, they are joining us. So hi, Anita.
Hi. Yeah, we're kayaking.
That is,
But Alex is paddling, and I'm just watching you guys.
oh,
I'm just listening in. How are you guys?
thank you. Anita was one of our recipe testers, and where you weren't in the United States when you were recipe testing. Where were you? Oh, well, we may have lost Anita.
That Wi-Fi out on the kayaking river.
Oh, I think I'm back.
Okay.
I think I was in Germany when I was testing.
Germany. And I know that your family are meat eaters. Did you feed them the recipes?
Yes, and they liked every one of them.
Oh, yay. That is what we like to hear. Well, thank you for joining us on the water.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
We can't wait to try the shepherd's pie tonight.
Oh, nice. All right, I'm gonna let you go back to paddling.
The shepherd's pie is really good with a gravy, by the way, in case you can make them both.
All right, I'm gonna bring in another person who is important to me. Her name is Doni. She has her mouth full right now, but I just asked her unmute her, and she's important for a couple reasons. We were living next door to each other when I decided to be part of Plant-Based on a Budget, and she was a huge support system as I had nothing and just needed support. So hi, Doni.
Hi guys, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for being here and for being so supportive, and also for tasting all of my recipes all of the time. She doesn't actually make them. I make them, but she eats them and likes them. So thank you for your feedback.
Hey, you spoiled me way more than I deserved, and so thank you so much for doing that for me. It was amazing, and you guys are amazing.
Tell me your favorite thing about the Alfredo.
What I love about the Alfredo is how creamy it is. I love pastas, and I swear, I eat pasta all the time, and so to have an Alfredo that tastes actually better than what I've always had is just, I was shocked, and so thank you for making that. You know how much I love it. I ask you for it all the time, so it's just full of flavor, full of creaminess. I don't know. I love it. It's great.
We also, we have a mutual friend named Hugo who one time, he's lactose intolerant, and one time I made it for the group, and he was like, oh, I can't eat it. And Doni was like, no, you can eat it. And loved it so much. So, well, it was nice to see you, Doni.
Thank you guys. You too. Congratulations.
Hey, Tony.
Yes.
Should we pick a winner for like our fun stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing like, we know not everyone gets to win the main thing, but we wanted to just do a little extra something special for those of you who are here today. So we're gonna pick a winner of our Friendly Vegan pins. These, you can actually find these on friendlyvegancookbook.com. And what we're doing is, we just love them. They're so delicate and non-assuming, and just great pins to indicate that you are not a mean vegan. So yes, you can find them there, and then we're using the proceeds from that to help give free books out. So to get the book in more people's hands, that is where, if you buy one of these, that's where those proceeds are going towards. And then we have a couple other things that are very, very limited edition. We're not selling these anywhere, but we want to give them to you somewhere. This is a little Friendly Vegan shopping list, and a Friendly Vegan bag for bulk items. So we are big advocates of reducing waste as much as you can, reducing plastic as much as you can, and a great way to do that is to shop from bulk bins. And so it's helpful to have, I have a ton of these bags that aren't cute with Friendly Vegan on them, but we wanted to give these to one of you. I was thinking, could we just have everyone look really excited and then have Heather pick someone who looks the most excited who will win that?
Is that okay, Tony?
Yes, I think that is fantastic.
Okay, so we're gonna do that now. Everybody look really excited. And then Heather, you're gonna sort of randomly pick someone who's looking really excited.
Okay, we've got some good enthusiasm here.
This is so fun. Okay, now keep doing this for another hour and you'll get your free workout in.
I've got to say, Terry Sachs looks pretty psyched.
I love it. All right, we have our winner, Terry. Congratulations. Will you send us an email? Actually, you can send me an email, michelle@worldofvegan.com, and include your address, and we will get it mailed out to you.
Everyone's going to do it now. Everyone's going to be like, I'm the winner. Okay, I wanted to bring on another person. Her name is Claire Schultz, and she was our editor. I just asked to unmute.
Hey
Okay.
guys.
Hi, Claire.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for all of your fine-tuning of our manuscript. It made it really special.
Oh, well, it was awesome working with you guys. You are such pros, so.
And you have also made recipes from our cookbook. How did you like them?
Oh my gosh, I am now obsessed with those Pop-Tarts. The toaster pastries are so good. I'm going to make another batch today, I think with pumpkin butter, so.
Yes,
I'm excited.
We worked together for months as Heather, sorry, I see Heather's face right there, as Claire just gave us all of the feedback. It was very kind feedback, but when you get a manuscript that is covered in red, you're just like, oh my gosh, that is a lot of edits. So thank you for all of the effort and reading every word of our book multiple times to make sure that everything was perfect.
Oh, again, it was just great working with you guys, so congratulations again.
Thank you, Claire. For anyone who's never written a book, it was actually kind of a humorous process for those around me. Tony has written multiple books, so she knows, but I'd be like, damn, I just turned in my edits. And so he'd be like, oh, good, you're done with editing. And I'm like, oh, no. There's like 16 rounds of sending everything through editing. And so it is really a lot that goes into creating a book with hopefully no errors and that everyone has caught all of the things. But if you do notice anything that's a little wonky, please let us know. But yeah, thank you so much, Claire. It's so comforting to be able to release a book that like, okay, Claire, it has passed the Claire approval and now we can feel good. I'm so grateful for you.
Okay, next I'm bringing on Heather. Heather is our marketing expert that we have the privilege of working with from our publishing house, Bambella. And here she is.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all today.
As I mentioned, it's been a challenge to come out with a cookbook in this year. It is a hard year to come out with a book, and it's a hard time with the election being on Tuesday to create this huge buzz around our book. And so thank you, Heather, for having not calls once a week, but twice a week to make sure that everything is going smoothly and to be extremely supportive. I know that there are people at other publishing houses that have not had this experience. And so to have someone who really cares about our book as though it's your own really makes us feel special. And we hope we can work together again in the future.
You guys are the sweetest, and honestly, it's such a privilege to work with you both. You're the dream team, and you write amazing, beautiful books, so I hope that there are many more that we get to work on together too. And congratulations today. I feel like a lot of people don't know how challenging the marketing process can be, and it's really fun too, but it's a long haul, and you've both worked so hard for months and months and months. So mega props to you both for all your hard work and for everybody who's joining us here today too to make this such a lovely event. It's everybody coming together and it's really nice.
I wish I could bring everybody on. Everyone is so nice. Thank you, Heather.
Heather, can I make a quick note?
just before I forget, because my brain will always forget things, with the election coming up, I just want to say a reminder to please vote. Please, please, please vote. More important than Amazon reviews are voting. So thank you.
All righty. I wish I could bring everyone on. I want to bring a couple more people on. Michelle, if you see people that you want to bring on, please feel free. But I'm gonna bring on my friend Anna.
Anna!
I just asked to unmute.
Hi! Congratulations, you guys. I'm so excited for you.
Anna is a very, very, very close friend of mine, and I know that when I told her in 2016 that I wanted to do plant-based on a budget full-time, she thought I was insane. She thought, you have a job, you have benefits, and then you're gonna have nothing. And she just couldn't maybe understand why I would leave the comforts of my job to have no money. I didn't make any money for a long time. And so to have her always be my voice of reason, and I know that sometimes it's easy to be like, yeah, you should do it, that sounds good, but to be someone who's like, are you sure you want to do that? Is that a good idea? Has been really helpful. So thanks, Anna, for being that person to me.
Well, when Tony started Plant-Based on a Budget, we knew each other, but we weren't super good friends yet. And one of the things, so I got to know Tony as she was building Plant-Based on a Budget. And Tony, your determination and your focus and your willingness to sacrifice your own comfort for this vision that you were trying to create, and your intelligence and your insight in the way that you went about building this brand and this business, and your mission focus in the way you approach your work were amazing to watch. And I have learned so much watching you and your process, that has actually been really helpful to me as I've built things in my own career. So I'm so thankful to have you as a friend, and you too, Michelle. It's been a pleasure to get to know you through Tony, and I am just absolutely thrilled for every success. You guys just keep knocking it out of the park.
Thanks, Anna, and thanks for coming on without warning. Okay.
Anna also made a vegan cake for Tony's wedding, which was insanely stunning. I love it.
You guys should have seen this. Some of you saw the first practice run for her shower, which was less than stunning, with the wedding cake held together.
Learning. This is why we have a cake in our cookbook to help anyone making a cake for the first time. Bea, are there any other questions coming? Okay.
There's one question by Diana Salter. I think she's not here anymore, but she wanted to know if you guys are going to do a demo with holiday recipes.
Ooh.
Good idea.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you for the idea. We were not planning, but now we'll do it, and we'll make sure to put that everywhere when we plan. All right, well, as things are winding down, I wanted to take a moment to thank a few people myself. You heard from some of the people we are just thrilled to know, and I wish I could unmute everybody, but I just realized it's almost time to end. So first, thanks to all of our recipe testers. I see a lot of you here. I wish I could unmute everyone. Thank you so much for making our book what it was. It's hard work to recipe test and then to tell your friend that their recipe could be better. So thank you for the honest, brutal feedback, and we definitely received that constructive feedback.
Recipes were cut.
Yes, recipes were cut. Some of our recipes were made to be even better because of the feedback that we received. So thank you for the recipe testers. Thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody who has a recipe in the book. There are some of you here, and that makes us so happy to have recipes from our loved ones. Thank you to all of our team of people who work with Plant Based on a Budget and Roll the Vegan. And thank you for our friends and family for supporting all of our efforts. It's everything. It really is, to have people who understand that we want to put our head down and focus on a project like this, and to support it, and to not have their feelings hurt when we can't hang out or be super present. And so it just means a lot to us to have those supportive people in our lives. And then finally, I wanted to thank Michelle, because I am a challenge to work with. I am very hands-on, and I just appreciate the relationship that we've created together, and the friendship that we have, and how we can work through everything. We went through a new baby, and death, and a pandemic, and we're still super closer than ever. And I think that speaks volumes of the respect that we have for each other. And I'm just so grateful to have you in my life.
Love you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I feel the same. So grateful for everyone, and thanks so much for everyone who's here today. But yeah, Tony and I have worked on many projects before, and it is really something special to be able to work on a project, especially of this magnitude, with someone that's a best friend. And that has been just so special. There's moments where we're huddled on the floor in tears, and there's moments where we're celebrating, and we're really grateful to be able to take this moment celebrating together. All of the ups and the highs and the lows. It's a lot to create in general, and to be able to do it not alone, and to have camaraderie in that is so special. So thank you, Tony, for being the best. I don't even know what would exist in this world in my life without you. So thank you.
And thank you to everybody for watching today. We value your time. We value your support and the energy that you're sending us. So thank you so much for being here, for watching us, for supporting our work, for being part of our cooking demos and everything. We really appreciate it. And for, of course, staying on this video. It was a rough go in the beginning, but I feel better, and I hope that you do too. This is a really good example of how we can remain friendly, how in the face of nastiness and hate and racism and anti-Semitism, we can stand up, brush it off, and keep fighting the good fight, be friendly, vote, and just be really present.
Yeah, I know a quote that, I don't even know who said this, but that has inspired me for a long time, is speak up even if your voice shakes. And I can even, as I'm getting emotional right now, this is the end of a really, really long marathon that so much has been thrown our way. And it was kind of we didn't have the opportunity, even when the pandemic hit, when we lost people, all of it, to step back, because we're creating something that we knew was so important, and we wanted to forge ahead. So to be at the end of that chapter and have created something that we're so proud of is really meaningful, and I'm so grateful that you're all here supporting it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, and please stay in touch. All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.